There are a lot of fun sports games out there, some of which have the ability to make a sport even more exciting. And some games can turn even the most boring sport interesting, like turning soccer into Super Mario Strikers. But what if there's a game that changed the formula of a traditional sport, like golf, and made it actually fun, and not a complete drag? You're probably thinking of Mario Golf, or something similar, but those games have nothing on the best sport of all, Frolf. Ribbit King is a game that was released on the GameCube and PlayStation 2 in 2003, just a year after Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. It's most known nowadays for its absurd price tag, similar to Chibi Robo. But now comes the question, why so much? Is the game really that good? Surely since the game is worth upwards of $200, it must have been praised upon release, right? Let's take a look at the reviews.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, the game was given mixed reviews upon its release in North America, and was mostly forgotten. This could be due to its release date having come out somewhat close to Mario Golf, or even just for its bizarre art style and premise. You'll notice a trend with games like these. Games that are more bizarre in premise and design tend not to do well commercially, at least when they're released in America. Over the years, however, the game had reached somewhat of a cult following. Some factors that relate to its exposure could point to an upload by the Game Grumps back in December 2013, which would have helped in introducing it to a much larger audience, but doesn't seem responsible for its jump in price. Ribbit King really skyrocketed in value from around February 2021 to May 2021. It had been rising in price steadily, but jumped up more than $100 around this time frame. The only cause that I could find here on YouTube that could possibly relate to the jump in price was a video of a streamer playing the game around the same time period, although it may just as well have been any other streamer or YouTuber. The reason for its sudden spike in cost is a bit of a mystery, at least from what I can gather. It could always just be attributed to the classic nostalgia buying that happens with these old games. I was introduced to the game not too long ago. I recall seeing videos that mentioned Ribbit King but only ever for its price and not the game itself. I fortunately just so happened to own the game. I wanted to see what the big deal was and if it was even worth playing. And while I wouldn't recommend spending more than $100 to play any game, this one at least has an amazing game behind its huge price tag. Video games like these that are valuable to collectors are rarely ever appreciated for what they are. People are more interested in having it rather than playing it. It's why games like Earthbound are worth upwards of $3,000, yet have such a small niche community behind them. Collectors just want to own a game for its value, and a very small few actually appreciate the game for what it is. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that. I, however, believe that more people should look at these games like they would any, and take into account the actual gameplay of them. Perhaps I'll make a series where I dissect valuable games like this one in the future, and actually take into account the gameplay itself. Back on topic. Ribbit King is actually a sequel to a game never released outside of Japan, called Kiro Kiro King. It came out during the 2000s and looks a whole lot different than its sequel. It's hard to compare Ribbit King's art style to any other game because it's just so distinct. The only games I could think that share a somewhat similar vibe were Animal Crossing and Katamari Damacy, with maybe a tiny bit of Parappa the Rapper. For the purposes of this video, I'll be mostly considering the story mode, although the gameplay is the same for both story and versus mode. The story starts with the Ribbit King himself giving the protagonist, Scooter, the simple mission of getting more Ribbonite for the kingdom. Scooter goes out with his sidekick, Pickwick. After a tutorial match against Pickwick, you're off to Frolf against other opponents. You frolf against many different characters, each with their own special introductory scene. One of my favorites is the Street Fighter panda, Pan Pan.
Aha! So you're my opponent! Yeah! I know Kung Fu! We're playing Frolf, aren't we? Oh, that's right. Hey, wait up!
There are a lot of great characters, like the referee.
Wait, who exactly are you, anyway?
Oh, me? Why, I'm a referee.
Who the main duo seem a bit suspicious of, probably due to him being both black and gay.
A referee? Are they always that creepy?
I don't really trust him. He's shady.
Yoo-hoo! All aboard the FUV! Hurry up, let's go!
Should we go?
Forget it. Come on. He's a weirdo.
At least I'm not a picnic basket.
Huh?
On the topic of the characters, just listen to how perfect the voice acting is.
Well, you see... Oh, it's over, we're doomed! This planet is doomed! Life as we
Your
know it
Highness?
is over!
And just listen to the main character's voice.
What are you worried about? I've got you covered.
Oh, about Super Ribbonite. I don't know. I'm not sure if I can get it. It's gonna be tough.
Something I didn't expect was just how well made and funny the cutscenes are. The game was packaged with a bonus disc, featuring a set of random movies of the characters. It's all very charming. The gameplay itself is easy to understand, but takes time to master. Instead of trying to get the lowest score, like in traditional golf, the whole goal is to get as many bonus points and string combos of gimmicks together before ending a game. The point system takes time to learn and appears more simple on the surface than it really is. Some mechanics that make gameplay more interesting are the ways you can hit the ball, or in this case the frog. You can arc your shots and even curve them to get a better angle on the goal or points. You have to make the decision of either taking whatever points you have and getting a frog in, or risking turn points to try to rack up bonus points. It can make matches with others very tense. I can see myself playing this game with a group of people, and having more fun than with any Mario Golf game or the like. I may have to do a comparison video about the two, as I need to spend more time with both to get a more informed opinion. There's always a strange sadness to discovering games like this. Games that didn't do well upon release, and only got a small following after the fact. You start to appreciate a game that most people haven't even heard of. It's especially disappointing when the game is so special and fun in its own. The hopefulness that comes around now is finding members of the small community and getting involved. I didn't know much of anything about the game or its fans at first, but after just a small amount of research, I knew there was something special here. Something that you want to see grow and thrive. And although small, I think that with enough exposure, the game could have a much bigger community. There are even some community events, like a live stream tournament for the game that happens every now and then. If what I said interests you at all, I recommend joining some of the links below and getting more involved. Or even just playing the game yourself. Now don't tell Nintendo this, but if you can't afford to drop $300 on the game, you could always emulate it. I'd recommend checking out the game and learning more about it. It's a shame that games like these don't have more of a following. That should really change. As for me, I'll try to stay active in the community in any way I can. Participating in the livestream tourney could be fun. I'll update if anything happens in my comments or on social media. This video was a lot shorter and less in-depth than what I'd hoped to offer in my future content. As much as I'd like to strictly work on long-form videos, I feel it would be best to work on less taxing, smaller videos every once in a while. I have a lot of videos planned, with some varying in length. I have one extremely long and in-depth analysis video also planned that I hope to release within the year. It'll probably be months in the making, and I want to have a slightly bigger following before I make it. I'll be working on a lot more videos, short and long, real soon, so stay tuned.